All right, guys, I'm out here in my salvage yard in front of my next big channel build project, which is a 1955 Chevy 210 four-door sedan. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately from some of my newest subscribers asking about this car in particular. I've been asked what color it's going to be, what engine I'm going to use on it, and 2 times I've been asked when am I going to start on it. I had to sit and think about it because, you know, longtime subscribers that follow me, they know what's going on, but if you're new to the channel and you just watched a few of my videos, you probably don't know what's going on in my little car world here. I'm currently working on a 2-door hardtop 55 Bel Air of my own to get ready for a car show coming up in a couple of months. As soon as that car is done, I'm going to be starting on this car. So I have decided I'm going to build this car for my wife, but I kind of want it to look like it's showroom fresh, like just an original looking car. It's not going to be original, it's going to look original. Anyway, so I'm going to do quite a bit of different stuff with the channel and my videos when I do get to this car, because unlike my 2-door hardtop, I didn't have my YouTube channel when I brought it home and started doing metalwork and rust repair and custom parts and doing stuff like that. It wasn't until later, until I did my YouTube. So this one, I've got the video from where I found it in the barn and brought it in, and I will post it up at the end of the video. There will be a link come up for a playlist, and there's only a couple of videos or 3 of this car, but it shows me dragging it out of the barn, you know, uncovering it and everything, and then getting it running and actually driving it to the end of the block and back. Couldn't drive it no more than that because the tires are almost 30 years old, and it felt like I had Ford Mint rims. Pretty scary stuff. But anyway, I have sold the engine and transmission out of it to another guy for his Tri-5 Chevy project. So the engine will live on and help another Tri-5 Chevy 4-door live on, which is pretty cool. It was a straight 6 3-speed standard transmission. I'm going to be converting it to a 305 Chevy small block V8 with a turbo 350 short tail transmission. I'm also going to put in a 10-bolt rear end with 3-weight gears. So as far as getting on down the highway and cruising and getting decent fuel mileage, it should do just that. Again, this is going to be for my wife, and I'm designing it for her and building it for her so it's something she can drive to her mother's, which is an hour away from here, or you know, drive it to work, or do whatever she wants to do with it. And we could even take it on vacation if we want. This car will live after it's done in the driveway. It's not going to be staying in the garage. That's where my 2-door hardtop's going to be. I don't really have the room in that garage to get 2 cars because of all the equipment that I have in there. So this one's going to be built with driving in mind. We're actually going to use the car, but it's not going to be perfect. I'm actually going to do a few different things with paint that I've never done before. I'm going to be stepping out of my comfort zone, but at the end of the day, I still think it's going to be a pretty nice car, even though it's not going to be the quality level my 2-door hardtop is. I'm not a professional at building these cars. I've just built a whole bunch of 55s. I know the cars fairly well, and you know, I've always been the do-it-yourself guy. I do everything myself. But anyway, if you're interested, I'll follow you through everything. I'm going to walk you through right now what I'm going to do to the car, some of the stuff, and tell you about the plans, the paint, the interior, and all that stuff that I plan on doing to the car. And I can guarantee you this is probably going to be the cheapest, one of the cheapest builds you've ever seen in your life. Anyway, here we go. So as I stated, I sold the motor and trans out of this car already. So I've already put on a Speedway disc brake kit on the front of this, and all the brake systems up and working. I redid everything in the back, which when I change the rear end, I'll have to replace it all again. But it has a new gas tank sending unit and all that. Now I have a ton of parts for this car already stockpiled. And the cool part is they were all free. I get this hood closed. I've got quite a few people in my little car world around here that they have cars like this and parts cars and stuff laying around. So they've helped me out. They've donated for the cause, and I think that's awesome. My cousin Steve actually donated me quite a few nice parts. He's restoring a 2-door hardtop 55 Bel Air right now. I've been helping him with it, and he gave me a lot of his parts from his car, and he's also gave me a lot of new parts that he's ended up buying doubles of that were either better or different. But and I've gave him a few things too, you know, but he has really stepped up and gave me a ton of stuff that I can use on this car, and I do appreciate that. He's got a heart of gold, man. But anyway, so this car is going to be for my wife, and I'm going to run you through what I plan on doing. Now, this car is going to look like it's fresh off the showroom on the outside, but it's really not, you know. I have plans to paint this car if I throw this in the mud first, about this shade of green, if that's coming out. It's going to be close to this shade. This is like a sea foam or a sea mist green or whatever they call it. This car was originally Neptune, which is a lot darker, and I never was a super big fan of this. It's not bad. It's just if I'm going to paint it, I always like this lighter pastel green colors. When I think of an original 50s car, I think of a pastel pale green like that, like a mint style green. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to do this color right here, but I'm going to do the factory style two-tone from the drip rail over. This will be like a tan or a shoreline beige color, just to give it a little detail. But it's going to be like a mint green. Now on these cars, when you bought them, the wheels were body color. So I have these steel wheels here. These are 15x7 from a Chevy Caprice, and they take the factory hubcap. These are original hubcaps for this car. So I'm going to polish these up. I'm going to paint the rims green, and these will go back on there. So it's going to look original. I'm just going to get on like Tire Rack or eBay or whatever. I'm going to find 4 tires, probably like a 215 70-15, and put on here. Very inexpensive. You can usually get a full set for around 250 bucks. And that's probably going to be one of the biggest expenses that I'll have to spend ever on the car. The other expense is the window felt kit, because that's like 220 bucks for that. But it's got to have it, so the windows didn't get broken. But I am going to pull all the glass out. This car's getting completely strip gutted off the frame. I have a body cart for a Tri-5 Chevy, and this body's going on there so I can do all my rust repair, get all the paint cleaned off to bare metal, and that way I can start up from the bottom up. But I am not going to go through the extent that I did on that 2-door hardtop, making it, show quality. But I'm going to keep this windshield. I'm going to reuse it. I'm just going to use the Eastwood glass polishing kit and try to clean it up the best I can. I am leaving that decal because I absolutely love that, but I will be putting it in with new seals and everything. I do have some new windows for this side. They're actually originals, but they're nice. I'm going to use them. The other side's okay. But anyway, that's pretty much the rundown on the car and the drivetrain. I have this thing chocked full of parts. There is parts everywhere. There is 2 giant totes in here full of parts, and I have a lot of good stuff. A lot of the original chrome parts that I had here, or I got from my cousin. It's actually pretty nice stuff. And I had a pretty big list of stuff I needed for this car. The only thing that I do not have now is a hood bird. That's the only thing I don't have. If anybody's got a hood bird out there, a good used one that's not pitted too bad, and you want to donate it, I'll sure take it. I shouldn't say that. What I'm probably going to end up doing is I'll probably get the imported version hood bird. What they've got when you buy one, they have 2 different brands. One of them's, I guess, overseas, and the other one's USA made. The imported version you can find on eBay for around 120 bucks, and that's probably what I'll put on here. It'll be good enough. But a lot of the chrome stuff I have for the car is super nice, so I hate to put something really, really bad pitted on there. I actually had a guy that was going to give me one. It's been a few weeks ago over at his place. He had it on the shelf in his shop, but it looks like it's been underwater for about 20 years, so I really didn't want it. Even though it was free, I probably wouldn't end up using it, so I didn't take it. He might as well, just leave it there on the shelf for him. But anyway, now I don't really have the money to restore the car in the course of like a month, so that's not going to what's going to happen. But there are things I can do to the car to get started that ain't going to cost me any money, like tearing it apart and tearing into it and doing rust repair. I'm going to build all my own patch panels, but I'm going to do very in-depth detailed videos, more than I do on the hardtop, and take you all along with me and show you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. One thing for sure I'm going to do on the car is that you realize is everything. I'm doing every single thing to this car. I am not farming this out to anybody for anything. I'm doing every bit of it right here. And I'm probably going to build the majority of this car underneath a carport, because, I'm not going to be pulling my hardtop out all the time to take this in there and work on it. I don't really have the room to get 2 cars in there. But anyway, I'm going to be running a single exhaust system on it because it's a 305. It's probably 160 horsepower, if that, so it doesn't really need duals. I don't really want the car loud anyway. This is a MagnaFlow turbo muffler. I only have one, so I'm going to use it. Also, I've got one long piece of brand new exhaust pipe, which I may need another stick, but I have all these universal bins from the parts store, which I call wrinkle bins. I've got 90s and I've got 45s. I've got a whole bag of muffler clamps, and I've even got a little chrome exhaust tip to put on it. So I've got some tubular A-arms here, uppers and lowers from Mutton Hollow. These were bought brand new for my hardtop, and then I ended up buying bigger ones, so these never got used. They were just on the car for mock-up, and then I ended up throwing them out here in the yard in the weather for like a year. So they got pretty bad shape. I'm going to end up, you know, cleaning them up and painting them again to put them on there, but they have brand new ball joints and A-arm bushings in them already, so that'll save me some money. I've got a nice grill. I've got a brand new set of H4 headlights, new lenses for the turn signals and the tail lights. I have a lot of stuff, and it's just, it makes no sense not to build another 55 at this point. But I've got an aluminum radiator. What else? So anyway, I'll talk about paint. Going to strip it to bare metal, epoxy prime it, bring it up from there. But I'm going to paint it with industrial paint, you know, farm paint, implement paint, tractor paint, whatever, because it's, you know, 25 bucks a gallon, 30 bucks a gallon. Probably going to have to get a couple different colors to actually get a color that I want, because, you know, those industrial colors, you're pretty much stuck with whatever you get. But as far as upholstery, I'm just going to go to a fabric store, and I'm going to buy quite a few yards of material. I'm going to try to find a material that I like. I'm hopefully going to find something that's maybe a green plaid, and I'm just going to do every section of the seat separately, hog ring it to the frame, and then bolt the seat, you know, front seat back together. So everything will be upholstered separately instead of just laying a blanket over it. And I realize the hog rings will probably end up pulling the material later as you climb in and out of the car. You know, it pulls, but, you know, it'll get us by for now. And, you know, later on down the road, a couple of years, maybe we'll have the money to buy a reproduction interior kit, because by the time you buy those reproduction interior kits, it's north of $2 grand. So it's a big expense. But as far as I can tell you, I don't think it's going to cost a whole lot of money in this car. I'm doing every bit of the rewire myself. I'm going to use an original glass fuse block from this car, and I'm just going to rewire everything myself, one wire at a time. I have tons of wire in a tote, all different colors, so I'm going to try to color code it and use the proper gauge wires and everything, but it's all going to be hand wired. It's a pretty basic car. The only thing it's going to have is an alternator on it, so I don't really have to worry about a whole lot of wiring crap. But that is the four-door up to now, so I'll be covering, you know, pretty much how to build a Tri-5 four-door on the mega cheap side. And the thing about it for me is it's not going to cost a whole lot of money for me to build this car, because I've already got a lot of the expensive parts here already. You know, you drag one in out of the field, you need cooling system, fuel system, braking system. A lot of stuff I've already done or have here. So I'm in there, especially an engine. I have a good used engine. I have a good used transmission and a good used rear end. So for me, it's a no-brainer to build. But anyway, all my videos, I'm going to show in depth how to do something, why I'm doing it. I'll explain it the best I can. And when I go to use that, you know, basically tractor paint on the car, whether it's good or bad, I'll do it in the video. You're going to know yourself. So the reason I'm going to do that paint is because of the price. The thing about that paint, I've got a couple of buddies that have painted their cars with this certain brand before, and one of them turned out really, really awesome. The other guy didn't use an activator. He just let it dry on its own, and it took like a week or two, but I was impressed with it. And as far as I know, it's still painted that color today, so it's been on there for like 20 years, maybe longer than that. But anyway, that's why I'm going to use it. It's all about money, man. You know, it takes a lot of money to restore a car, and when you don't have it to begin with and you want a car, you do what you got to do with the money that you got. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Other thing about it is, yeah, I know it's a four-door. You don't have to tell me that. I know there's lots of guys that they're not four-door guys, I'll tell you that. I have a two-door hardtop, and I've got a four-door. I like them all. I'm a true classic car lover. There's nothing else I'd rather do than bring back a car from the dead. Nothing in the world I'd rather do. I don't care how many doors it has. And I'm actually going to quote my Uncle Wayne, who is no longer with us. He had a four-door 55 that he drove almost every day. And his version was four-door versus two-door. When you're in the driver's seat, you don't see the other two doors behind you. So I've kind of lived by that. I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off here, get on my hardtop, get to work on it, because that show is coming up quick, man. If you're interested in seeing the build for this car, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff that you hear other people say on their YouTube channels. Very, very much appreciate the subscriptions. I'm trying to get to 1,000. It has been hard to get there. I'm getting pretty close, but I'm just not quite there yet. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.